from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. James Azar here with the Practitioner Brief for October 25th, 2021. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be tuning in from in the globe. Thanks so much for tuning into the CyberHub podcast. Apologize for the slight delay this morning. We did have some technical issues, worked through those, and we are live right now. So thank you for all of those that were patient with us this morning. I really do appreciate it. All right, folks, if you have not subscribed to the podcast, please make sure to do so right now. Follow the CyberHub podcast. It is a show you don't want to miss daily right here, live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and the CyberHub podcast LinkedIn page as well. You can catch it there. Now, it's Monday. It's the last week of October. Someone was so kind, Mr. Rosen, so kind of said, James, last week of October. Yes, it's the last week of October, which means it's the last week of Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Next week, we kick off Veteran November. The entire month of November is dedicated to veterans. I'll be posting a daily podcast speaking with a veteran on top of all the other content. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Stay tuned for that. Veteran November coming soon. Shout out to KnowBe4 for their support of the show. And without further ado, let's get to some of your comments this morning. Good morning to Mr. McQuiggan and happy Monday. Good morning to Chimeria. And it is coffee time. Mr. Hurley, good morning. And how about those Braves? Yes, indeed. How about those Braves? Texas and Georgia in the World Series. How about that? And Taylor, good morning to you, Tyler, and good morning to Taylor as well, folks. So now, before we get into our first story, it's coffee time. My double espresso, and with a newborn, I've come to have a deeper appreciation and fondness for coffee. This, of course, is I think I've stopped counting at some point in the wee hours of the morning, but I am powered on espressos with the newborn in the house. So coffee cup cheers, folks. Happy Monday to you as well, Tom, and coffee cup cheers. Let's get right into the stories that are going to be top of mind for a lot of us. This one changes the name of the game. I've been a big fan of hackback. You gotta create some level of deterrence. Well, now REvil is the first to get that. In a new twist, the U.S. leading a law enforcement effort to hack back and disrupt the extortion group behind the Colonial Pipeline cyber attack. This has been confirmed as a Reuters report said that the Tor servers associated with the REvil ransomware gang were seized in what was described as a multi-country hackback operation that remains active at the moment. The ransomware group's public blog, which was typically used to name and shame victims into paying multi-million-dollar ransoms, was knocked offline. A goodbye message from one of the operators read, "The server was compromised and they were looking for me. Good luck, everyone. I'm off." And that person is off until he is arrested. Threat hunters tracking underground human-operated ransomware operations confirmed the REvil shutdown, which was carried out by foreign partners of the U.S. government. Several other competing ransomware groups responded to the REvil network takeover by moving cryptocurrency reserves and even publicly complaining about the hackback operation. So the criminals are complaining the fact that they're getting hacked back. Oh, the irony. The infamous REvil gang was caught using the dark side data encryption tool in human-operated ransomware attacks against multiple U.S. companies. Significantly was Colonial Pipeline and the CISA supply chain compromise. So it's good news. It's a deterrence. Now other ransomware gangs are going to look at this and go, well, do we really want to be on the other end of this? And then they may not want to be. That's how you start to put a dent on ransomware anyways. It's not any other way. We'll move to our next story where CISA is urging admins to patch critical Discourse code execution bug. A critical Discourse remote code execution vulnerability, which has been tracked to CVE 2021-41163, was fixed through an urgent patch by the developer on Friday. Discourse, which is an open source forum, long form chat, and mailing list management platform that's widely deployed on the web, extremely popular, offers excellent usability and integration potential while focusing heavily on social features. The vulnerable versions are 2.7.8 and older, and the best way to address the risk is to update to 2.7.9 or later, which came out on Friday. The latest beta and test versions have also been patched against the flaw. According to official stats, Discourse was used to publish 3.5 million posts viewed by 405 million users in September of 2021 alone. Because of Discourse widespread use, CISA also published an alert about the flaw, or urging forum admins to update to the latest available version or apply the necessary workarounds. The exploit itself is triggered by sending a maliciously crafted request to the vulnerable software, taking advantage of the lack of validation in the subscribe URL values. Calls to open with user-supplied input allows to invoke OS commands with whatever rights the web app runs on, which is typically the www-data, which is the admin version of it. The implication is significant. It has a CVSS score of 10.0, the highest there is. A Shodan search has returned 8,641 Discourse deployment, many of which could still be exploited to RCE. However, all SaaS instances have been patched on Wednesday. Anyone who can update to the latest version is advised to block requests with the path starting with the webhook -AWS. So keeping that in mind, if you are using this, please make sure, if you are using Discourse, please make sure to get that fixed. We'll move to our third story of the day, and then I'm going to get to a few comments here. Microsoft reveals that Russian SVR hacked at least 14 other IT supply chain firms since May. Microsoft says the Russian-backed Noblium threat group behind the SolarWinds attack is still targeting the global IT supply chain, with 140 MSPs and cloud service providers attacked and at least 14 breached since May of this year. That's nearly 5 months ago. The campaign shares all the signs of the Noblium approach to compromising a significant list of targets by breaching their service provider. Just as in previous attacks, the Russian state hackers used a diverse and ever-changing toolkit, including a long list of tools and tactics ranging from malware, password spray, token theft, to API abuse and spear phishing. The main targets of these new attacks are resellers and technology service providers that deploy and manage cloud services and similar tech for their customers. Microsoft notified impacted targets of the attack after spotting them, and also added detection to their threat protection products, enabling those targeted in the future to spot intrusion attempts. Microsoft says that since May, they have notified more than 140 resellers and technology service providers that have been targeted by Noblium. The investigation is still ongoing, with as many as 14 of those actually going through a compromise. So you can kind of see that they're going after Azure AD trust relationships. They're looking at on-premise access, if those do exist, and they're social engineering their way in, and the remote access solution, which is ideal for them because it's a straight shoot in. The victims have not yet been completely revealed, although I'm sure we'll see more of those as they come through in the next few days and weeks ahead. Get to some comments here. Tom says, want to scare ransomware operators. Blackwater Worldwide receives contract to hunt ransomware groups. Yeah, one way. We'll stick to the law enforcement one, Tom. I think people are more scared of going to Rikers than they are of anything else. A lot of these guys are just trying to make a buck. And good morning to Mr. Matt Lee, who's joining us as well. We'll end with this amazing story. A DDoS attack hits multiple email providers. The attack hit Runbox, a email provider based in Norway, Posteo, an email service based in Germany, and Fastmail, an email provider based in Australia. They've all received a threatening letter and a demand for money. We will not pay any amount of the money demanded. Companies must not allow themselves to be blackmailed by criminals under any circumstances. This, according to Posteo, the German company. Fastmail and Runbox have not confirmed receiving similar attacks or demands. The attack itself was carried out by the same threat actor, according to a person familiar with the matter. Similar extortion requests are believed to have been sent to 2 other companies as well. Fastmail and Postay have resumed operation while Runbox is dealing with a new assault. Something to keep in mind. Additionally, UK VoIP provider VoIPhone and gaming service provider Spark also dealt with similar DDoS attacks. So while ransomware goes, DDoS comes back. There's no tool that's old enough for cyber criminals to use. Keeping that in mind, folks, make sure you are putting in compensating controls. You're planning for the old just as much as you are planning for the new. There's no way to say it. The threats, if you focus just on the advanced new threats, you're going to leave the old ones out there, and those are the simplest one to take advantage of. Those typically bring you down to your knees much faster, significantly, like DDoS do, especially with what we've seen recently. Folks, that's it for us here today. We'll be back again tomorrow right here at 9 a.m. as we wrap up the month of October, National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we get ready for Veteran November for the entire month of November. So you don't want to miss that. Till then, have a great rest of your day. Have a very, very awesome, successful week, and talk to you tomorrow. Till then, stay cyber safe. Cheers.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening